That down. Let's get this Friday started here, shall we? We're going to start off with this. It almost feels, and it might actually be, just as long as we've been waiting for a Blade movie, we may have been waiting for a Henry Cavill Highlander film. Because they announced this a while. I mean, it wasn't as long ago as Blade, but we've been waiting for it. We've been waiting for word. Actually, somebody just wrote in the other day saying, hey, what's going on with the Henry Cavill Highlander movie? Well, now, according to IndieWire, we've got some movement on it as the Highlander reboot with Henry Cavill moves from Lionsgate to Amazon MGM and United Artists. And they got a writer on board, new writer on board as well. It goes on to write this. The Highlander cannot die. After originally being set up at Lionsgate as a potential new universe of movies from the director of the John Wick series, director Chad Stahelski, remake of the 1980s cult film Highlander, is changing sides. Amazon MGM Studios and United Artists, as led by former Netflix film chief Scott Stuber, are in final negotiations to secure the rights to remake a new version of Highlander, again with the aim to release the film in theaters. Instead of yet another new take on it, Stahelski is still attached to direct, and Man of Steel star Henry Cavill is still attached to star. Michael Finch, who wrote John Wick Chapter 4, is writing the screenplay. United Artists 2 still have hopes that the film could be developed into a larger new series. All right. This is interesting to me for, a couple of reasons. The main reason being is, why did Lionsgate let this go? This is a property this is an IP that has franchise written all over it. And Lionsgate, it's not a hot scoop or a hot take to say they've had a rough go of it a little bit lately. I think they've got a great future. I think Michael is going to be huge for them, especially if they do end up splitting it into two films. I think Ballerina looks bonkers good. I think they've got a bright future. I think they're doing some really good things at Lionsgate. But why would you let something like Highlander, when every studio is desperately looking to get their hands on franchisable IP, and you got a star like Henry Cavill attached, and a director like David attached? I'm not sure why you let it go. Now, maybe they didn't let it go. Maybe there was timing issues. Maybe the clock ran out. I don't know. But I do find it really weird that Lionsgate would allow Highlander slip through their fingers, because frankly, it seems like they could really use it. Okay, let's move on to the new thing. Amazon MGM. They found a good home, man. They found a good home. Because, listen, I just came from watching an Amazon MGM movie in The Accountant 2, and it's awesome. I loved it. We just came back from CinemaCon, where they put on a fabulous presentation, including a big, long look at Project Hail Mary with Star Wars actor Ryan Gosling leading it and Lord and Miller directing it. And, oh, by the way, they got this little thing called Bond.
James Bond.
They're making moves. They're making moves.
And Masters of the Universe. Which, I got to tell you, looked more interesting than I thought it would with that CinemaCon presentation. Yep.
It looked way more interesting than I thought it would. But also, we're reminded that the John Wick 4 writer, Michael Finch, is writing this thing. And he's done a couple of really interesting films. He did that one with Michael Keaton called American Assassin, which I actually quite liked. He did that one decent Predator movie, Predators, with Adrian Brody. Like that, the one decent one.
Yeah, the Robert Rodriguez camp made. I like that movie.
I like that movie too. It's not as good as the original
but
Predator.
it was cool.
It was a lot better than some of the direct that we got that came after it. So him, and of course he did John Wick 4. So look, you know me, Highlander, the original Highlander with Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery and Clancy Brown. That movie is the oddest member of my top 10 favorite films of all time list. Like when you go down my top 10, everybody looks at, oh yeah, that's a great one. That's a great, Highlander? Really? I'm like, yeah, it's the weirdest one I got in there. But I have been waiting forever for this to come. And with Henry starring on it, at least we're hearing some movement. Anyway, Rob, you hear about this move. It's now moved over to Amazon MGM, which doubles down that it is happening, but I don't know. What's your take?
Well, I keep thinking back to that CinemaCon presentation that MGM Amazon Studios gave us, and like you said, they're making moves. And knowing, look, the things that Amazon, I think the whole town is sleeping on the fact that you have Courtney Valeni and Sue Kroll really running that studio now.
And they did such a good job.
And Courtney Valeni's, was a lifer at Warner Brothers. Sue Kroll was one of the great marketing powerhouses in the business. And to have Courtney Valeni and Sue Kroll together at Amazon, you've got a legacy. You've got the two great minds that were legacy members of the Warner Brothers crew through many different iterations when the studio was riding high. And I think they're a powerhouse. We saw them both in that presentation.
Yeah.
We heard from both of them. I think they're a powerhouse. Look, if I was going to work at any studio right now in the business, I would go to them. I would ask to take a meeting with Sue Kroll and Courtney Valeni together to pitch. Because they know, like you said, they're making moves. Their slate was incredibly impressive. And to see why wouldn't you?
It was diverse in tone and genre, and it was a really good presentation.
You've got a talking sheep movie written by Craig Mazin,
starring Hugh Jackman,
whose death they have to avenge. I mean, it's reading up about that book. Look, they've got a great. So I think what probably might have happened is the rights came up, and they probably wanted a huge renewal fee or something, and they didn't have it, or they know they're making the new Hunger Games movie, so maybe they're putting their money or efforts there. We don't have enough money. Whatever.
They don't have the bandwidth to do too many huge IPs at once.
So Amazon picks it up. I think it's a great IP for them. It's a great team for them. I think it's exactly in their wheelhouse. And look, what we saw with that Travis Knight directed, Guy Hendricks Dias designed Masters of the Universe. Going into the fantasy realm, I think Highlander is a great fit, especially, they're doing they're doing Crime 101, the one with Chris Hemsworth, which is based on a Don Winslow novella. It fits right in with what they're doing. Because now what they didn't have a lot of was original IP. This is a classy, if they want it to be, a classy IP.
Yeah, and listen, it can be. The reason it's such a good fit for them too is because obviously this can be a film franchise. It can be an Amazon video. You can do the larger shared cinematic universe. You can, because of course Highlander also had spin-off TV series, had a couple of them. So you could do a series on Amazon Video. You can have the movie franchise in theaters. I mean, it's got a lot of possibilities if they can deliver the goods. And I think David and Henry are going to deliver the goods. If they can just get around to making it now. Of course, Henry's a little busy at the moment. I think they're still filming Voltron. They should be getting ready to wrap their filming on Voltron here pretty soon. But then we'll be getting some Highlander. Question is for you guys. There can be only one. And I guess that means studio. It's going to be Amazon, MGM's United Artists. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's a good move? Did you even forget this movie was coming? You'd be forgiven if you did. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.